Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. So, some more fluid painting is on the cards. I've got a 24 by 12 inch canvas, it's deep edge. I'm using a Turquoise Blue by Amsterdam. I've painted the sides already to prep my canvas. And I'm going to use the blue turquoise as the base coat. But on top, I'm going to use a combination of blues and metallics. I'm going to take you down now so you can see the colour palette. But don't forget, I always list all of my details, including the brands of the paint and all my ratios, so you can get your consistency right, in my description box below. So just expand that box and you'll see lots more information in there, which I hope is really helpful for all of you. So I'm excited for this one. It's actually a really hot day here in the UK. We've finally got our summer. So let's see what we can create. So there's my canvas, 24 inches by 12. You can see I've already just painted the sides, just so I've got some really good coverage for when I paint on the canvas. And here's my colour palette for today. So this is the blue turquoise by Amsterdam that I've got as my base coat. All my paints are mixed with a pouring medium. I'm using Owatrol Floetrol, and it's 1 part paint, 3 parts Floetrol, 1 part water. So that's the consistency, but I will list everything in the description box. I've also got a copper, and this copper is by Pebeo, iridescent copper. I've got the silver by Arteza. I've got the brilliant blue, the Prussian Blue, and the Phthalo Blue. So they're all my colours. I've also got this colour that I mixed up myself. Again, I'll list all the details in the description box below. It's a phthalo, no it's not, it's a Prussian Blue mixed with some white to get that tone. And then my cell activator is titanium white by Amsterdam, and I've mixed that with Australian Floetrol, 1 part paint to 4 parts Australian Floetrol. No water in this one, so it's just paint and pouring medium. So that's the cell activator that I'm going to use to swipe with. So let's go. So if you regularly watch me and have watched me for a while, you know that I always say if you can get your base coat in terms of consistency and coverage right, then everything should fall into plan. So I'm placing the paint on the canvas in the middle of the canvas, and then I'm stretching that paint out across the surface area. But I'm not pushing the paint over the edges and down the sides yet, because when we add our swipe colours, we're going to add more volume of paint to that surface area, which in turn will allow us to really stretch out the design, and that's when we can push the paint over the edges and down the sides. I always mix my own paints, but in doing so, I've added some air into that mixture. So now it's about popping those air bubbles that are in the paint, and I do that with a butane torch. I just go over the paint, over the surface area, and pop those bubbles. So this one, for me, is really about allowing these colours to pop through, but also celebrating the negative space. So in this creation, it's almost about ensuring that there's a lot of negative space to allow the design that we're creating, the pattern that we're creating on top, to be able to really shine through and be the focal point. So it's that balance of pattern versus negative space. So I'm layering the colours one by one. I'm only going to do 2 swipes. So I really want one of the swipes to go over one of the ends, and then the other swipe to almost filter out from the middle and almost have a feathery effect going towards the other end with a big block of colour in the middle. So that's the plan. I'm going to take one colour at a time and then we can swipe through our cell activator. Okay, so there are my colours. I will list everything in the description box. This is the palette knife I'm going to use, and I'm literally going to swipe that palette knife over those colours, place the cell activator on one end, and then stretch it out. So let's add in that cell activator, and as you can see, I'm just layering it at the side of the copper, enough to allow that cell activator to be able to spread across on top of all those other paints, which in turn should create some really nice cells and lacing. So I've got a clean palette knife. I place the palette knife within the cell activator paint and then glide that palette knife over the top of all those colours we've just layered, and I swipe through to this end and clean off my palette knife, and then do exactly the same for the second amount of paint layers in this swipe. Again, I don't add a lot of pressure. I just allow the palette knife to infuse with the paint and glide it across. So I'm not going to swipe anymore, because I said what I really wanted to do is get that balance of block colour and pattern. So this part is really about opening up that swipe, opening up those cells that have been created. There's more cells there than what you will realise, because as you start to pick up your canvas and stretch that paint, you're opening up that design, you're opening up that pattern, which in turn is making those cells bigger and more prominent across that piece. So this is really about taking your time, opening up that pattern, ensuring that you've got enough paint. You've definitely got enough paint to cover the surface area, to go down the sides, to go down those edges. But it's about balancing that composition. So just tilt the canvas from side to side, and don't be scared to place that canvas down, take a step back and have a real good look at what you're doing. I turn the canvas around several times because I can feel the weight of the paint, and that weight of the paint means I need to tilt it in a certain direction to allow that paint to flow across that surface area. So this part of the process is about stretching that paint, opening up those cells, and the balance between the pattern and the block colour of the negative space. And remember, if you're enjoying the video, you're enjoying my instructions, please give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, and let me know what you think about this creation as it evolves in the comments below. So I've managed to get that first swipe over one of those ends. I've definitely still got that block colour in the middle. I'm just pushing that paint more towards me to allow me to push that paint in other directions on the canvas. And that second swipe, I've really opened it up, and those cells and that lacing there on the right hand side corner are feathering out to the other end. So once you've got that full coverage, it's really about the composition that you really want to achieve. And then once you're happy, clean up your edges, and I'll show you now a close-up of the wet version. And you can see here that that swipe that I wanted to carry over that one end has that copper colour all the way through. It's like the webbing all the way through those blues, with a block colour of the base, so the negative space, and then more of a deep copper shining through on that other swipe, but it almost feathers out towards the other edge, and the lacing becomes a lot more delicate. I've had so much fun doing this, and I think I really want to do some more swipes and create some more pieces with the focus on the negative space. Negative space can actually really help your pattern pop, and it can really be the showcase of your creation itself. It's not always about the pattern, but it allows your eye to be drawn into the pattern that you are creating. So it's about getting that balance. It's dried really well, so I'm really happy with the colours. I'm yet to gloss varnish this. I do put a gloss varnish on all of my creations. I use a Winsor & Newton spray varnish for my gloss coverage. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've had so much fun. I hope you've had fun too. And if you try it, let me know how you get on. And let me know what you think about this piece. I'd really like to do some more negative space focus pieces. So also let me know the colour palette you'd like me to experiment with too. And what techniques would you like me to do? I'm thinking about doing a whole range of techniques, including a ring pour, a Dutch pour, a swipe, and so much more. So take care of yourself, have a creative week ahead, and remember, be kind to yourself if it doesn't always go according to plan. See you soon, and I hope I get to see you in the next video.